You might think an old blade belongs in the trash, but I'll show you how to build a simple device to restore its perfect sharpness. Let's take a look at this old kitchen knife. I'm trying to slice through this piece of paper, and it just rips and tears instead of making a clean cut. As you can see, it's incredibly dull. This is frustrating and actually quite dangerous to use in the kitchen. To really show you how bad it is, I'll try to slice this tomato. Instead of cutting the skin smoothly, the knife just squishes it. A dull knife requires too much pressure, which can lead to slips and accidents. But don't worry, I have a great idea to fix this. I'm taking a standard turnbuckle. I don't need the whole assembly, just this eyelet bolt. I'll unscrew it because this eyelet will act as the perfect guide for our sharpening rod later on. Next, I have a sturdy block of wood that will serve as the base of our sharpener. I'll mark a spot near the edge. Then I'll use my drill to make a hole. Leave a comment and let me know which country you are watching from. It's great that we can connect and chat from all over the world. I'm adding some super glue into the hole to secure the eyelet bolt tightly. This base needs to be very stable, as it will hold the guide for our sharpening angle. I need a way to hold the knife securely on the base. I'll measure and mark 2 spots opposite the eyelet. After drilling pilot holes, I'm screwing in 2 screws, making sure to include wide washers. These washers are crucial because they will act as a clamp to hold the knife blade firmly in place while we work. Moving on, I'm taking a smaller square block of wood. I'll mark the center and drill a hole straight through. Then, I'll take a straight metal rod and glue it into the hole. This will be the handle and the carrier for our sharpening surfaces. To actually do the sharpening, I'm using 400 grit sandpaper. I will use super glue to attach it to one side, Then use scissors to trim the sandpaper so it fits the small wooden block. This grit is perfect for reprofiling the dull edge and removing material quickly to get a basic edge back. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any interesting ideas coming soon. For a finer finish, I'm taking a higher grit polishing paper and gluing it to the opposite side of the block. This two-sided design allows me to switch from a coarse grind to a smooth polish by simply rotating the block, making the process much more efficient. Let's assemble our jig. I slide the metal rod through the eyelet bolt on the base. Next, I take our dull knife and slide the spine under those two washers. I'll tighten the screws down hard. This clamps the knife securely at a consistent angle, which is the secret to getting a perfect edge. I'll spray a little water on the sandpaper to act as a lubricant and carry away the metal shavings. I start moving the block back and forth along the blade. I'm using the 400 grit side first to establish a new bevel. The eyelet bolt ensures the angle stays exactly the same with every single stroke. I flip the block over to the finer sandpaper to smooth out the scratches and refine the edge. Just like before, I apply a bit of water. The jig does all the hard work of keeping the angle steady, so I just need to focus on the sliding motion. Once I've formed a burr on one side, it's time to sharpen the other side. I simply loosen the screws, flip the knife over, and clamp it back down. This homemade jig makes it incredibly easy to get symmetrical, even bevels on both sides of the blade. I'll repeat the sharpening process on the side, making sure to use consistent, smooth pressure. The rod sliding through the eye guarantees that the sharpening angle is perfectly maintained. This is something that's very hard to do by hand with a traditional whetstone, especially for beginners. After working it with the fine grit paper to hone and polish the edge, I'll unclamp the knife and wipe off the grinding residue. The edge looks bright, consistent, and beautiful. But the real test is how it cuts. Let's try that paper test again. Look at that. It slices through the paper effortlessly with a smooth, clean sound. No more tearing or catching at all. The difference from before is just night and day. Now for the ultimate kitchen test, the tomato. Wow, it glides through the delicate skin with absolutely zero resistance, making perfect paper-thin slices. This knife is incredibly sharp and ready for any culinary task you throw at it. And for a final dramatic reveal, let's try the hanging water bottle test. A perfect, clean cut. Our DIY sharpener was a huge success. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.